Hello and welcome back to day 4 of 40 days of showing up. My name is Summer. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about a lot of different things, but mostly about how to digest and assimilate and acclimate and understand not only why you're here on planet Earth, but how to be of service. And the theme, the motto of this challenge is doing just that, showing up for yourself, for your life, for your purpose every single day. Not in a performative way, but in a way that helps you discover what it is and that you're avoiding in yourself. And I even drew some things out for you today in this video. I'm using my whiteboard. I don't expect you to read my handwriting very well, but we're going to talk about the first step is understanding that self-pity that you have when you're throwing yourself a self-pity party is really you being avoidant. Avoidant of what? Well, usually from my experience, we're avoiding facing something inside of ourselves, like a deeper truth, a deeper emotion, a deeper theme that's going on. And I know from experience, when I'm feeling pathetic and indulging in this lovely drug that we call self-pity, I'm usually trying to validate, or some subconscious mechanism is usually trying to validate some reason why I can't be who I'm meant to be, or to go after the things that I really want to. Because why? That would require me facing my fear. And really, me facing my fear is really facing discomfort. And when we are facing discomfort, it's a really interesting thing, and it's a pretty big deal in a feeling avoidant culture. So we're really, when we are not interested or feeling this resistance to fear, it's really, I think underneath it, it's resistant to failure, resistant to this feelings that are negative, that are discomforting. They're not comfort, anti-comfort. And the thing is, when we have a lot of unresolved psychology, we tend to create this false sense of comfort in our lives by the lies in which we tell ourselves. And so and it's kind of inevitable being on planet Earth. Like, that's a part of the game, the gambit. But as psychologically minded beings that we are, we're psychological beings. And if you're a spiritual being, there's this innate pull that you have coming from within yourself of you wanting to be more than what you are, to become more, to be more in service to life. And because from my perspective, like, why else are we here? Really, than to be in service to something greater, to utilize whatever we have, whatever we were born with, whatever skills we've acquired in this life, to multiply and give to the world. And so that can be really hard because, again, we are a feeling avoidant culture. And if you were never taught to feel, if you weren't raised around people who handled their emotions really well or even emoted at all, it can be a really uncomfortable, scary territory. Or if you were in an environment where emotions equal danger, it can be really uncomfortable to face your feelings and not know what to do with them. And so it's funny because we have these little amazing devices now that we can just turn to at all times to avoid feeling the discomfort, to avoid feeling the pain, and to avoid facing fear. But everywhere you go, there you are. And so there's always opportunity to face the fear. And I had one the other day where I turned on my magical little device, scrolled to an app called Instagram, and I feel pretty proud. I've carefully curated a feed that really represents where I'm at and what I'm moving towards. And it's a lot of things that pertain to my interests and my skills that I need to develop in order to advance myself and what I know that I'm here to do. And I got, I could feel this knot in my belly. It was like this anxious knot in my belly that was connected to my heart. Listening to this creator that I resonate with talk about the very things that I've been avoiding in regards to content creation, being able to hone in on my communication skills, which is something that I don't feel very proficient at. And I knew that it was a really great opportunity because I knew I was going to bring that into the conversation for this video as an example of the ways in which I can't tell you how many times that particular fear has been poked inside of me, because it's an inevitable thing that I'm going to have to face. The discomfort of not being perfect, of figuring things out as I go and stumbling along the way. And as someone who has a very can be very perfectionistic and controlling, it's a really beautiful opportunity for me to be doing this challenge to just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks and practice anyways, because that's what we're here to do anyways. It's not about perfection. And that's what the internal forces want us to keep believing, that you have to be perfect and completely articulate and completely on your P's and Q's to make you worthy to be listened to. Like you have to look a certain way, sound a certain way, be a certain way in order to be taken serious or whatever. But that's completely false, as we know. Look at all the different people in the world that are expressing themselves, stumbling through their words and finding their tribe and making an impact either way. And when we face our fear, we tap into this untapped potential, and it leads to this cycle of ultimate growth. So you do this thing where it's like, oh, you're in the shadows, you're in the dark night of the soul, of the self-pity, of the depression, of the anxiety, believing the scripts, noticing the scripts, and disidentifying with them. And then, which means facing them, right? Like facing the reality that you're not this person that's thinking these thoughts. And choosing to feel the discomfort and not compartmentalize it away or spiritualize it away. And really allow yourself to feel. And that's a whole nother topic for another time. And like the process of actually learning to feel your feelings and to know what it is that you're feeling, not just to feel them, but what are you feeling? Where is it in your body? That kind of stuff. Let me know if you're interested in that, because we can discuss it. And you're not going to get very far, and you're just kind of going to be chasing your tail in these loops and cycles until you face these fears in a really healthy, sustainable way. I'm not asking you to go balls to the wall over here. Definitely not. But when you face your fears, you kind of get to see like the smoke and mirrors of it all. Because usually whatever we really fear, it's usually coming from something that happened in the past that's not relevant to the present, because you're not the same person that you were then. You're not, now you're different. And you wouldn't respond in the same ways that you did in that previous situation. And so I hope that this was helpful, and I look forward to continuing to tap my untapped potential in a really organic way, and seeing what you do too along the journey alongside me and what I'm doing here. And It's not about perfection. It's just about giving it a shot, yo. You know what I mean? All right. Take care. Bye.